This is a presentation on calculating the value of information technology, narrated by Caitlin Penny, February 2010. It is important to calculate the cost of information technology because the cost of implementation, costs of things like software licenses, the developing of master patient index, hardware, network infrastructure, yearly support and training often go overlooked when deciding to implement a program. Determining the operation cost of the system is crucial. Introducing electronic health records may initially reduce efficiency, but over time has been proven to increase efficiency in a hospital, which can provide considerable benefits to the health system. Therefore, in this presentation, I will illustrate an accurate way of calculating the value of information technology. In order to show the true value of IT implementation, I will be using data from VISTA, which is an electronic healthcare records information system used by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans Affairs is the largest medical system in the United States, making VISTA one of the most widely used electronic medical record systems in the world. The Veteran Administration serves over 4 million veterans, employs over 180,000 workers, has more than 160 hospitals and 800 clinics spread throughout the United States. Clearly, the implementation of VISTA has widespread effects on the U.S. population. This data was provided to us by the Department of Veterans Affairs. The information was released on October 6, 2007. The data spans 6 fiscal years from 1998 to 2004. The data shows the budget of Office of Information for the year, as well as the number of patient records in VISTA for that year, and finally the cost per patient index. To better understand the data presented, scatter plots have been created to show the correlation between the finances spent on IT and the uses of that technology. There is expected to be a strong relationship between IT cost and usage because if the system is not being used in relation to the initial cost of implementation, then the return on investment is either far too small or insignificant. The graph shown here represents the data illustrated on the previous slide. Here the scatter plot shows the close relationship between the cost per patient index and the budget of Office of Information. The correlation between the two data sets is 0.892. Since the correlation is measured on a scale between 0 and 1, numbers closer to 1 represent data that are closely and strongly correlated. Since 0.892 is close to 1, there is a close correlation between cost per patient and the budget. The second graph, also taken from VISTA data, shows that the correlation between the number of patient records in VISTA and the budget of the IT office. While there is still a strong correlation between the two at 0.765, it is slightly less than the previous graph. Correlation between the different variables can then be used to determine causation. In this calculation, we will determine the initial investment, the IT budget, was the cause of the product, which is the cost per patient, or that the product was the cause of the investment. The calculation closer to 0 will show the causation. The equation shown for causation calculates the correlation of investment and use, the correlation of use and product, and the correlation of investment and product. When we input the correlation values already determined into the separate causation equations, we see that the second result is closer to 0. This leads us to the conclusion that the reduction in cost per patient led to the increase in the Office of Information's budget. The main drawback in using return on investment analysis is the possibility that an organization may not have the data to calculate it accurately. Accruing this data takes time and resources, and many healthcare organizations may not have the opportunity to do that. The findings we have shown today tell us not only that the patient costs and overall budget are closely related, but that the lowering of these costs would directly cause the increase in the overall budget. This proves that the implementation of electronic healthcare records had a return on investment. This has been a presentation on return on investment. Thank you for listening.